and getting it, turning life around, giving him better health, better shape. So DDP also, shout out to him. He was a world champion. It's
Just
about
a
taking.
side note. Just a side note. Vince McMahon is a legendary swagger jacker. Vince McMahon is notorious for taking guys from other brands and taking brand logos, combining them. Vince McMahon is a legendary swagger jacker. Like nobody ever talks about the fact
Facts.
that Vince McMahon is always taking other people's ideas because niggas is too dumb to put copyrights on shit. Vince McMahon, you can say whatever you want about him. He's just smarter than everybody else. Maybe not. He's not as book smart as other people, but Vince McMahon has more street smarts than other people do, and that's why he's able to mess people over. Ted Turner is a way better businessman than Vince McMahon, but he's not a street smart. He's not as street smart as Vince is.
Exactly. Great point, yo. We talked about that earlier, me and KD.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Ted Turner. Yeah, Vince McMahon he's a smarter businessman as a whole. He know how to get what he wants. He's a McMahon. Don't
He
surprise me.
he know how to make his money work for him. Unlike the
Yeah,
other ones who just got the money and they just to throw it at a dummy like Bischoff and expect him to make magic when he got no wrestling history, heritage, and nothing. Like it's crazy.
yeah. I do not care for that dude at all. Eric Bischoff,
Eric
one
Bischoff is a hell of a son.
he
Facts.
helped. Yeah, he is. No doubt about it. But yeah, we're gonna go to number one on the list. Give me a second. You guys kind of saw earlier by accident, but I'm gonna show it anyway. Number one heel of all time is the man himself, Mr. Rowdy Piper. He is number one heel that should have been a world champion. Number one, definitely should have won. Go over his career. He was a wrestler he wrestled many years. He wrestled since 2011, 69, I believe, to 11. Sleeper holds his finisher 73 to 11. Hall of Famer 2005. Former Intercontinental Champion. And of course, his heel moment, which is still one of the top heel moments to this day. Smash the coconut over Jimmy Superfly Snuka's head on Piper's Pit in 1984. Uh, Hogan is a huge reason, very very huge reason this man not win the title, and because he just wouldn't do whatever. I believe I heard that he didn't do what WWE specifically want. He didn't, play the game, with Vince. That's why he never won the title. And Hogan did not want to lose to him. It's just this is a highway robbery, literally highway robbery. This man not win. I mean, CM Punk quoted himself that Roddy Piper was his inspiration as a heel and inspired him to get into the wrestling business. And other wrestlers mentioned this about Roddy Piper. So I just don't get that at all. This guy had everything. The persona, Piper's Pit, promos second to none, up there with Ric Flair. Um, I mean, he was in WCW for a while, came back to WWE for a little bit, passed away in 15 of leukemia, I believe. I think he had leukemia or Hodgkin's disease. But yeah, definitely a man that should have won. Number
He
one
had
on
a
my
heart
list.
attack.
Yeah, heart attack. Okay.
Hmm.
I know before he passed, he got to a Stone Cold Steve Austin over a little, I think it was over interview show or something. And Stone Cold got him fired from a little podcasting thing he was doing. And people was mad at Stone Cold for a while after he passed, but definitely number one on this list, man. There's nothing more to be said about this dude. He had everything to be a champion. And I would leave it on to you guys for this one. For number one.
No, Piper is unique. Piper should have definitely won. But I want y'all guys to go back on Piper's career and you tell me who besides Bret Hart ever pinned this man's shoulders to the mat. And that's only because he respected Bret Hart because of the Canadian connection. But again, guys, nobody pinned this man shoulder to the mat, and especially Hogan, since he knew Vince was gonna ride Hogan's. You know what? He said he made a deal, and he never ever let Hogan pin him, bro. You know what I mean? Hogan, if you notice, in WrestleMania 1, who got pinned? It was not Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I'll take it over for good bread till he gets straight. Roddy Piper, aka what was his name, Eric Toombs or whatever, is one of the greatest wrestlers who ever lived. God rest his soul. Easily one of the greatest technical wrestlers ever. Robert Toombs. Fun fact: he's not from Ireland. He's actually from Saskatchewan, Canada. One of the most technically sound wrestlers who ever lived. Also, for a long time, he was undefeated. Roddy Piper was never, even though he's a heel, there was nothing fake. There was nothing fake about him. Like that. What you saw on TV is who he actually is. He is known for being a short-tempered, in your face, very gritty type of guy. He had legendary rivalries with every top star in the history of the WWE, from Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, even Triple H, even The Undertaker. He's beef with everybody. He's right up there with Bret Hart as far as being a technically sound wrestler. He's one of the few guys who you can say is more of a technical rap mat guy. It can still entertain a crowd. Go back and watch some of his matches, but maybe not the greatest athlete, not a bad athlete at all, but he's not like an Undertaker or like a like he's not a dynamic athlete like that or like Jeff Hardy and off the top rope type of guy. Even Bret Hart was a pretty dynamic athlete, but Roddy Piper is the greatest heel of all time. Honestly, he was Chris Jericho before there was a Chris Jericho. And the thing is, even Ric Flair, who he had beef with up until the day he passed, God rest his soul, even Ric Flair said that Roddy Piper is the most gifted entertainer who ever lived in the history of wrestling. He was basically like, see how Chris Jericho is with the highlight reel, and how Edge was with his show and stuff like that. All Roddy Piper. That was all him. He's the greatest heel who ever lived. He should have been a 10-time WWE champion because him being a heel would have made people watch TV even more. But again, he beefed with the wrong people. Very independent guy. His who he was on TV is who he is in real life as well.
Yes, very true. Very probably set the template for a lot of guys. Jericho, Edge, CM Punk, all those guys. He definitely kicked off the whole heel persona. Him smashing that head over Jimmy. That was before Jericho, put Shawn Michaels over the 5,000 Titantron or Jerotron. He was one of the three legends that faced Jericho at WrestleMania 25. It was Jericho versus Snuka, Piper, and Ricky Steamboat. That's the last WrestleMania I remember him being in. It was supposed to be Mickey Rourke, but you know, for Hollywood reasons, they didn't want him in the match. Um, but yeah, Jimmy Snuka, I'm sorry, Roddy Piper, he um he just took over, man. As a heel, it's just like I said, highway robbery. Oh, Goodrich, you want to say something?
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm here. Y'all
I
on point,
want
man. Y'all on
I
point.
want to hear
Everybody
your
on point.
no, I want to hear your take on Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper is he's the man, man. Like I said, Roddy Piper was the man. Roddy Piper had a dog collar match before he like again. Maybe it's just something with the people that's not homegrown WWE stars. Because Roddy Piper, he came from I think it was AWA, and he one of the most historical matches I can remember where he actually, if y'all didn't know, Piper fought his whole stint in WWE with a busted eardrum, much like Cactus Jack, because he was in a dog collar match in Starcade 2 or 1 or 2, might be 1. He was in a dog collar match with Greg the Hammer Valentine, who also was stolen by Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? And they had a vicious match. I mean, blood, and Piper got his ear busted in that match, but he won that. And then like a couple weeks later, Vince McMahon stole him, and like 3 weeks later, he was in WrestleMania. So Piper definitely, like Vince spent a lot of money too. Piper was one of those wrestlers too, guys. Keep in mind that he might not have had the title, but he had got top dollar. He was getting top dollar, and this is the reason why a lot of the other guys on this list, like Jake the Snake, he really was so far from the title, because if they didn't give it to Piper, who was the heel at the time, you know what I mean, which forced Jake to be the undercard heel. You know what I mean, and this is all due to Hogan and Vince, though. You know what I mean? You gotta blame it on Vince too, because Vince, you saw the green and you just wanted to go to the well so many times when you could